The Nothing Phone 3 is Nothing's most unique phone to date, and it has this really cool new display that they're calling the Glyph Matrix, but there's a big reason why a lot of people hate it. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the first thing you notice with this phone, the design. The design is super unique and super creative. Nothing always tries to create something new, and you can definitely see that with this phone. It's very controversial, probably Nothing's most controversial design to date, because of this camera that's right up against the edge of the phone, which looks very unique, and at first I hated it. This looks awful. This is the worst camera layout I've ever seen. No one's going to buy this. The Nothing Phone 3 can't look like this. But now I'm actually quite okay with it, because I think it looks very unique and very special, and it's very nothing-like. Paired with all the other design elements, I think it creates a very cohesive and nice design. I really like what they've done with this square in the top half of the phone where the flash sits, because this circle looks very nice. Overall, I really like this design. But what's that in the corner? A new glyph interface? This is what they're calling the Glyph Matrix, and it's this little 25 by 25 black and white screen. And you can do a couple of things with this, but one of the main things that they're pointing out you can do with this is start a essential space recording, and then you can have this little recording waveform animation on this little screen. But here are some other things that you can actually do with it. You can do a glyph mirror selfie, solar clock, compass, clock, rock, paper, scissors, and finally these weird little ringtone animations which look very cool, and it kind of looks like chemicals they've talked about in one of the videos. But you can even switch between some of these modes with this button that they've implemented on the back, which I also think looks really cool. Nothing has finally implemented a good water resistance rating on their phones. This phone has IP68, which is much better than the IP64 of the Nothing Phone 3A. In terms of the cameras, it's got 4 50 megapixel sensors. It's got a 50 megapixel main camera, 50 megapixel periscope, and a 50 megapixel ultra wide, which is probably exactly the same as the Nothing Phone 3A Pro, except for the ultra wide. And then it's also got a 50 megapixel front camera. On the 3A Pro, this camera system was really solid and created some really good looking pictures, and looking at Nothing's website, I think that's the same case here. The Nothing Phone 3 features the Snapdragon 8S Gen 4, which is one of the best processors you can get in a phone. It's almost the exact same performance as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, like I pointed out in a recent video. And you can get the Nothing Phone 3 with 12 or 16 GB of RAM, which is very high and is the highest of any Nothing phone to date. And you can even get it with up to 512 GB of storage, which is a lot. Now the display is unreal. For the most parts it's pretty normal. I mean, it's just a 6.67 inch AMOLED with 120 Hz, but the thing that really makes it stand apart is the fact that it's 4500 nits of brightness. This is extremely bright, and it's the brightest I've ever heard of in a phone. I can't even imagine how it can be that bright. Like, we were shocked when Apple introduced 2000 nits of brightness, but 4500 nits of peak brightness is just crazy. For the battery, it's got a 5150 mAh battery, which makes it the first Nothing phone to pass 5000, and wireless charging is also back. For the wired charging, it's got 65 watts wired charging, which is better than the previous Nothing phones, but isn't quite the 100 watts that the leaks promised. Nothing has also improved the software a little through the Essential space. So they've added something they're calling the Essential Search. And this is a search engine where you can search through your photos, your apps, your settings, your messages and stuff like that, directly from your home screen, which is kind of like the Spotlight search on iPhone. And I think this is a very nice implementation. And they've even added an AI search engine to Essential Search, which is kind of like Perplexity and ChatGPT search, where you can just ask it questions and it will give you an overview with a bunch of sources on the internet. I really like this feature in particular. So guys, that's the Nothing Phone 3, and it's going to cost $799 euros or pounds. And you can pre-order it from the 4th of July and it will be officially released 15th of July. I think it looks super cool and I really want to see it in person. If you want to know about Nothing's new over-ear headphones, click the video that's up on screen now. Subscribe for more Nothing content.